Hi everyone. So today we're going to look at Unit 2, Day 2 for 10th grade, specifically focusing on the image tool. The lesson is about the long 19th century modernity describing something new in the late 18th century when the word was used to celebrate change, opposed to the old way of doing things. Why do I bring that up? Just so the title makes sense. This is a teacher-facing video to take apart the image analysis tool. Now, before we take a dive into the image analysis tool itself, just wanted to show you how we're going to take this apart. For the first video, the first column is how you'd find this on Passport or the Department of Education Teaching and Learning YouTube channel. So for the first one, what is the image analysis tool? What is suggested image analysis like? And how can we model and introduce image analysis for our students? As I'm sure you know, yes, it's images, it's not text. But because of that, sometimes our students find it extremely challenging. In the next video, I know it sounds crazy, but yes, I have some games that I play with my students when we take apart images, strategies and supports for image analysis that will specifically help us with the different steps of the tool. And then finally in video 3, that scary dragon in the closet, image analysis for cartoons. And obviously we can do a little bit on other works of art, but cartoons specifically using the image analysis tool with a real focus on step 1, because that is where I find students get stuck. So let's dive in. This is from Passport. Giving you the specific parts of the image analysis tool. The first step, for the second step, first step is observation and source information. Second step would be inferences. Third step is evaluation, which is purpose, perspective, and bias, and then reliability and limitations. And then the last step, how does this image help us answer whatever overall historical question there is. In this particular lesson that we're taking apart, it would be which concept is best illustrated by an image, different concepts in regard to the 19th century, emancipation, enlightenment, imperialism, industrialization, nationalism, revolution, everything that fell within modernity. And the actual Passport to Social Studies, but historical thinking tools analysis strategies also provides teachers with an empty image analysis tool where you can adapt for yourself. Notice I'm working within Kami, so I'd be able to pull this out and edit, but that's for a different video, a different time. Now, in this lesson, the Passport to Social Studies people gave an introduction and model with the Declaration of Independence, the famous painting by John Trumbull in 1817, which would be years after July 4th, 1776. It's the modernity specifically for the concept of government. And there's a screenshot here on the side for the image analysis tool. Just a side note, my personal take on this is from the HBO film John Adams, where he comes up to the painting and he goes, "This is not the way it looked." Well, at least the actor does. And that just like permanently stirred into my brain in regard to this painting, as famous as it might be. So in this lesson, the social studies people gave model responses for the observation and sourcing, that it was the Continental Congress when they met with the Declaration, right? 50 men gathered. And it's what they see, and it has a title, citation, context. Why might you have to know that? Next, inference. What do you think? What connections can you make to a historical moment? And it connects obviously to the modernity, because the whole idea is of freedom and that people are breaking away of government, that people have a voice in government, new sense of government. And then they ask questions for perspective and purpose, and they say the bias, which I brought up earlier, speaking about John Adams and that HBO series, because this was done in 1817 when the Declaration was written in 1776. So for my students, this would not work as a model because they'd be overwhelmed. If they had to work on their own, even as a model using this for different types of images, I think they'd be very frightened. So I took down, because this lesson continues and provides students with independent work where they should work with all sorts of other sources. where they have to choose an image on the following slides to using the image analysis tool. Then they have to find the element in modernity. That's going to be the historical question they answer at the end. Which concept explored in the previous lesson is best illustrated by the image? So before we go there or take anything apart, and students would obviously have a choice, I found this lesson as an opportunity to speak to other teachers about some tricks and tips that I use to help students take apart images.